Hey guys, it's Kate Shell here, and today I will be showing you how to make this dress here. I actually got the idea from one that I seen off Wish, and I got 2 yards of fabric. I should have got 2.5 because I'm kind of tall, but let's get started. What I did, I opened it and I folded it in half, the hot dog way, as they say, and straighten that out. And that is my son on the side here helping me out a little bit. But I took my sundress that I already had and I traced it. I used my sundress that I already have as my template, to make things a little easier. Alright, next I took my measuring tape and I added, I think it was about either 8 or 10 inches to my dress, because the sundress that I'm tracing is like really short on me. It's cute, but it's short. And if you're tall like me, it'd probably be best to add a few extra inches at the bottom. And also I moved the back part of the dress to the side a little bit so I can trace notches onto the fabric so I can form my neck hole onto the dress. Then I continued to trace around my dress, leaving 1 inch of seam allowance around the edges. I know it's a little dark here, but this is my line. I think I left maybe half an inch of seam allowance because I wanted it to fit kind of tight. And then I connected my notches that I made and formed my neck hole on my dress. And next I measured from where my armhole started to my waist so I can form the top part and also cut the back because it's backless and it ties up in the back. And I believe this was about 10 inches or so. And this was my lines and my notch where I marked at the waist. Then you're gonna cut that out. All right, and by this time you should have 2 identical pieces of your dress. You put 1 full piece aside, and then the other piece you mark where you marked your waistline and you cut in half. And then you put the bottom to the side. That's going to be the back part of the skirt part of your dress. And what I did here, I wanted to have spaghetti straps, so I slimmed out my my strap. I think it was like 1 inch. And then I don't know if you could see my marks, but I marked where I wanted to cut, and then I make my corrections. Then after you separate your top from your bottom part on your second piece, you take your first piece, the full piece, and you connect it to that, and you also cut where you how thin you want your straps. Next, I cut my straps, and I wanted mine really long. So, and I think I cut them like 1 inch in width, and I just used that whole strip of fabric. And also the 4 squares you see, those are going to be your loops. Alright, and my straps ended up being like really long, so I cut 4 strips and I sewed them together like so. Then after you sew your straps together, you fold it in half and you sew along the edge like so. Then next I took my safety pin and put it close to the edge of the fabric, but not quite to where it'll rip as I'm pulling. And then you push that through and you flip your strap around. Now my strap is a little thin, so as I was pulling it ripped a little bit, so I had to fix it. And as I said, my straps are really long. This is how they ended up turning out. And now we take our full piece along with our piece that we cut, and we are going to use that as our lining. We're going to take our straight pins and connect that so we can take it to our sewing machine and sew it. But before we do that, we're going to take our 4 square pieces that we put, as you see I pinned all around the edges except for at the top. Now you take your 4 pieces, you fold it in half, and then the 2 edges that are folded together, you put that near the end. You put that at the 4 corners and you pin in place, and then you take it to your sewing machine and sew your loops in place. And after that, we take our handy dandy safety pin again, and we're gonna push it through our hole that we left open.
Highly likely.
When we sewed our lining in. Keep pulling until you leave just a little bit of the string out, and you take that to the sewing machine and you sew your string in place like so. Now you want to cut your edges here, and also at your curves you make little slits so when you flip it over it won't be bunched up. And this is how it turned out when you flip it right side out. No. Now we're going to take our bottom piece that we set to the side and connect it to our full piece. We're going to take your straight pins and you are going to sew along those edges there. Now make sure that your lining piece is face down. And you go to your sewing machine and you use a zigzag stitch, or if you have an overlock machine, use an overlock stitch, and we are going to sew those pieces together like so. And after that, you're going to double fold your hem and sew around. Now for the scrunch part in the back, I think I marked about 10 inches down, and I think I left 2 inches from the top of the back of my skirt and marked where I'm going to put my elastic. Then you are going to take your elastic and see where I marked right there. That's where you're going to begin your elastic, and take a straight pin and piece that we set to the side and connect it to our full piece. We're gonna take your straight pins and you are going to sew along those edges there. Now make sure that your lining piece is face down, and you go to your sewing machine and you use a zigzag stitch, or if you have an overlock machine, use an overlock stitch, and we are going to sew those pieces together like so. Then after that, you're going to double fold your hem and sew around. Now for the scrunch part in the back. I think I marked about 10 inches down, and I think I left 2 inches from the top of the back of my skirt and marked where I'm going to put my elastic. Then you are going to take your elastic and see where I marked right there. That's where you're going to begin your elastic, and take a straight pin and put it in place and prepare it for sewing. Then we're going, after we take it to our sewing machine, you're gonna start like a couple normal stitches at the top. Still use your zigzag, but take like the first few stitches and do a normal stitch, and then stretch your elastic so you can get that scrunch effect in the back. Now this is optional. This was what I seen on Wish, and I thought it was really cute, so I gave it a try. But this is completely optional. You don't have to do this. And I took it in on the sides at the top, however many inches you need to take it in, and then you sew it and cut it off, and you are done. You have a finished and beautiful sundress. This was my Mother's Day gift to myself, and I really loved it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you tried this yourself, I would love to see it. Be sure to share it on my social media. All the links are down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Mwah. Peace.